What's aggroing, aggroers? No video games today. We're gonna take a look at a movie. Yeah. So I know what you're sitting there thinking. Are you gonna watch Dracula? Are you gonna watch The Wolfman? What about The Creature from the Black Lagoon? What if I told you we're gonna watch a movie with all of those? Yeah, now I know you might be thinking that's probably way too much. True, but it's pretty cool anyway. Let's check it out.
The Monster Squad.
The Monster Squad comes from the far-off past of 1987, hot on the heels of the Goonies, back when little kids solving adventures was all the rage. And right off the bat, you gotta love a movie that just has exposition before the exposition, really drive home the point. Then we cut to shots of Dracula's creepy crawly castle, lots of monsters running around, lots of feral armadillos out in the castle. Those Transylvanian armadillos, they'll get you. Meanwhile, Van Helsing leads a band of angry villagers. They blow down the door and randomly shoot a lady. Now, I'm pretty sure you all agree with me here. It's gotta be the worst when you're trying to have a midnight snack and someone comes in and just starts blasting at you, right? And Van Helsing's plan here is to use an amulet, a scroll, and a virgin sacrifice to open up a portal to Limbo and suck all of the monsters up there so they'll be out of mortal hair forever. If anything, this works as a good pro-literacy campaign. Leading us into a shot of a suburban school with our two child heroes in the principal's office. Apparently they care more about monsters than they do about math, but the principal seems oddly cool with it.
I dig it, man.
And that doesn't stop our heroes from exiting the principal's office, yet still complaining about him.
Shoulders and stuff, they got us fully homoing out. I smell like the 40s. I mean, when they send you to school, won't they tell you about the homos and the people with cat heads?
As a quick aside, it looks like one of our main protagonists made his own Stephen King Rules t-shirt. I mean, what can I say? The kid's got an impeccable sense of fashion. While those two are getting yelled at by the principal, we have our third protagonist out in the playground getting 80s bullied.
Can't you stop eating?
Yet he's saved by the coolest kid to ever exist in the world, Rudy. When that's all said and done, the kids all group up and revel in their fears of World War II.
Scary German guy. Maybe he's a German spy. Oh, good one.
But meanwhile, while all of that is happening, there's a cargo plane conveniently flying overhead that's carrying every single monster known to man. What could possibly go wrong?
They should have a party.
Oh, that. And then that. And then that. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Then we have our three hero children adding Rudy to their monster club by giving him the worst monster test ever.
2 ways to kill a werewolf.
Silver bullet?
And?
That's it. Shoot him with the silver bullet.
Yes, but where does the creature from the Black Lagoon live? Then Sean gets called into dinner where his mom conveniently has bought him a book from Van Helsing. And in typical mom fashion, she has no idea who Van Helsing is.
What, Van Helsing something? Now he's the one that fights Godzilla, right?
Typical moms. But it turns out the book is only in German. If only we knew somebody that spoke German.
Scary German guy.
Later that day, the kids want to go see Groundhog Day Part 12.
Maybe you can go see Groundhog Day Part 12 tonight. Only if it's okay with you. Is it, please?
Apparently in this timeline, Groundhog Day is a horror franchise that has 12 parts. Dad says no, but it doesn't matter anyway because the kid lives close enough to the drive-in to just watch it from the roof anyway. Meanwhile, while Groundhog Day 12 is going on, the monsters in the town are popping off.
Oh, look at that big scary monster. Oh!
They're going everywhere, and they finally squat up and then resurrect Frankenstein. And then after the movie's done, our hero Sean goes back into his house and sees he has a message from Mr. Alucard about his Van Helsing book. Then slowly but surely he pieces together that Alucard is Dracula backwards? Oh my god! Then this leads him to the realization that monsters are real and something must be done about them. Henceforth the name...
We're the Monster Squad.
He said it. That's the movie. That's the name of the movie. Dracula sets up a base in the American Midwest so fast that it had to have been pre-built. There's no way he could have built this whole thing just landing randomly. Because as we all know, Dracula keeps two bases, one in Transylvania and the other in Morgantown, Indiana. And in order to fight these monsters, the kids have to confront their World War II fears and talk to Scary German Guy. But turns out, Scary German Guy isn't that scary.
Scary German Guy's bitchin'.
Scary German Guy reads the book and then lets them know, hey, the world could end tomorrow night. What a coincidence! The kids have to stop the world from ending by finding this amulet, which is already in Dracula's crypt. Who knew? The best place to hide a world-ending item from Dracula is in Dracula's house. Van Helsing also hid his jewel here, it turns out. Morgantown, Indiana is the height of supernatural activity. Watch out. So the kids are hatching their plan when they accidentally befriend Frankenstein. You know, like you do. Which leads them to getting ready to fight the Army of Darkness in the only way they know how, an 80s montage. After our montage is over, Dracula feasts on his pantry of Denny's waitresses, while the Wolfman in his human form escapes to tell the police that these kids are in danger.
Crenshaw.
Hurry, get all your men and send them down to 666 Shadowbrook Road. It's an old mansion. He's found the amulet. There's no time.
Who the hell is this?
I'm the one they shot last night. I'm a werewolf now, but...
Have a nice night.
No, don't hang up. He's gonna kill your son.
Of course, the police response to that is... And the kids go forth with their plan, with half of them splitting off to break into Dracula's dungeon house, and the other half going to get cheeseburgers. The kids that go to Dracula's house bring Frankenstein for protection, but unfortunately he is crushed to death immediately. And then meanwhile, the other kids still eating burgers. Then back at Dracula's house... They manage to escape with the help of a Scary German Guy in his World War II era car he keeps around for some reason. During the escape, the mummy tracks them down and brilliantly gets hit by the car and just kind of grabs at them for a while until cool as hell Rudy unravels the mummy to death with a bow and arrow.
See you later, Band-Aid breath.
Cool as hell. Flashback to Cop Dad, who is so worried about his son's life he rushes home with his partner, only to find Dracula at their front door. Naturally, what does Dracula do? Pull out an old-time stick of dynamite and blows up his partner. Dad naturally shoots Dracula, but nothing happens because he's a Dracula.
I will have your son.
The kids decide to head to a church and have a virgin read the manuscript by Van Helsing to open the portal again, as you do. As they're trying to get this portal open, the minions of Dracula come out and just leave it to badass Rudy.
I'm in the goddamn club, aren't I?
They take him down one by one. My god. Cop Dad shows up in time to shoot Dracula again, but this time it works. But before he can finish him off, he's blindsided by a werewolf, but doesn't really matter since he blows him up. But as it turns out, blowing up a werewolf doesn't kill it because it's not a silver bullet, even though it's an explosive. It's a bomb, I guess. The cops arrive to find Rudy over 3 slain women. Now imagine how this would look with a badass teen. What would the cops do? Shoot the werewolf behind him, of course. But it doesn't matter because Rudy has the silver bullets and badass shoots them to death. Rudy has a kill count of 4 right now. He's leading the group. But meanwhile, while this is happening, the creature from the Black Lagoon comes up through the sewers, but is shot to death by the fat kid. Because you don't need silver bullets to kill the creature from the Black Lagoon, you can use any kind of bullets. In fact, I'm surprised he's alive this long without water. After all his friends are killed, Dracula finally comes back in full force, and he fights every police officer in town. Eventually to scream at a child.
Give me the amulet, you bitch!
But none of that matters because Frankenstein comes back to life again and takes out Dracula like Vader tossing off the Emperor from that railing. But that doesn't hold him back for too long. Eventually our hero kid has to wrestle with Dracula while the vortex opens. And somehow Van Helsing flies out of the vortex to put Dracula in a sleeper hold, then sort of give a thumbs up because we know he's cool. Van Helsing's a cool guy. Then he gets sucked into the purgatory void along with Frankenstein and some innocent civilians, but who cares about them? When it's all said and done, the military show up out of nowhere, as it turns out that crayon-written letter that the child sent in the montage made it to the military, and they took it seriously for some reason. But none of that matters anyway, because the Monster Squad is here. Then we roll credits to a super 80s song that's all about the Monster Squad.
We're the Monster Squad.
Just letting you guys know, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll have more stuff coming out soon, and it'll be more video games and movies and all kinds of fun stuff. Just let me know. I'll do whatever you want. I'll pull my hair out. I'm going crazy over here.